Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 13 of King City on Cities Skylines. So, I actually played this episode quite some time ago, but unfortunately, I was kind of procrastinating, and I also had a lot of things going on with the holiday season. So, it did take some extra time for me to kind of sit down and focus and edit the video. Um, I do apologize for that, but anyway, we're back at it. I'll be putting down 3 of the signature buildings in this episode, and we are doing this road here specifically for them. I'll start with the City Hall, then the Central Bank, and then I think it's the Intelligence Bureau, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we have some cars kind of stranded there in the middle of nowhere. And the reason for that is because I actually built this whole area once, but my screen recording got stuck at one point and basically nothing was recorded. So I had to go in and basically bulldoze everything and start again. The first time I built this area, I ended up doing a straight road with the City Hall and the other 2 buildings kind of in the middle. But this time I decided I was going to kind of angle it to one side. I just thought it would be more interesting, and it would kind of be more part of the city rather than just going out into basically nowhere, because it will probably take a lot of time before this whole map is developed, and I didn't want him to be kind of stranded on one side, and then we have a whole bunch of buildings and the downtown core on the other side. So what you'll see me do is after the City Hall, I'll start kind of bending the road to an angle towards the city. And another reason why I decided to keep it closer to the city was because I will be running tram lines on the main street and basically all around these new buildings. So I wanted this area to be closer to the downtown core, so we can have the line run through the elevated tracks that we already have and into our main station. And if you see where I started the street from, it is directly in front of the tram tracks that we have, both the ones that go into the harbor front and the ones that go into the downtown core. That is because I'll be putting in a new tram line here, which will serve this area and probably a lot of residents to come in the future. So the road that we have up there is one of the original ones we built when we moved to this part of the city, and it basically connects this part of the city to one of the highways. Now, we can't really have this road going above ground anymore, so I decided to go ahead and move it underground for the part that kind of intersects with our central bank. And also the road is kind of just too big for it to be running above ground and intersecting with the streets that have the trams running on them. So there was kind of no option with keeping this one above ground. And I personally like it more this way. I think it makes more sense, and it's probably more functional. Just because now it's kind of like, even though it is a street, it's not a highway, but it gives off more of a expressway, if you would say, with limited number of red lights and intersections just kind of going into the city. Okay, so the Intelligence Bureau is the last building we'll be putting down here. And I'll be kind of following the shape of the parking lot for the road around it. We'll be doing this circular road. I did try my best to keep the shape of the parking lot. Now, I mean, it's not perfect, but I think we did what we wanted to. We achieved what we wanted to. And again, all these roads will have the trams running on them. It both looks cool to have the trams running around here, and hopefully it'll be functional in the future once we have a whole lot of people both working in this area and living in this area. So here I was trying to figure out the location for the tram depot. I decided to kind of extend this road and put it here. Now, one of the main concerns I have with the tram depot is they tend to get stuck in traffic before they even get to the route that they cover. So trying to avoid that is kind of difficult. But here I just decided to go with this location. And in terms of stops, I'll be doing 4 located all around our buildings, all 3 buildings. 2 on the way back and 2 going towards the buildings. Now I'm not sure if this all makes sense in terms of where I lay down the stops and just how this whole system's gonna work, but we gotta give it a try. I'm not gonna know until I try. One thing I realized is that even though I placed the tram depot up there to minimize traffic around the depot, I realized that we still have this one road that intersects our road where our trams run. And again, I just don't want that, to be honest. It just creates such a terrible backup. You'll have 5 or 6 trams just sitting there in traffic. So I went ahead and did this little overpass. Now, at this point of the game, this area is not too significant, but I'm sure down the line there's going to be some point where this area might need to be reconfigured again to have it better suit everyone living in the area. But for now, I think it's fine. The overpass will do, and hopefully the system will run smoothly. But we also got to get people coming to the area and living in the area, other than the people that work in these buildings. But again, that's going to be more of a natural process, and it's probably going to take some time. Okay, so now that we have the overall layout of this area, I do want to have some new streets that connect into the area. And to be honest, I'm not still too sure how dense I want to go in with residential and office buildings around this new area, but that's something I kind of gotta play with and find out what looks right and feels right. But I can still go in and do a rough layout of streets in the area, and that is what I'm trying to do here. This is the first residential area we are building in the new part of our city. Again, in terms of density, I'm not exactly sure how dense I want to go, but for this little area here, we are sticking to the medium density, and I'm also leaving some tiles in between them just so they're not too cramped into one another. But we'll see how this turns out once they're built, and we can kind of decide and go from there. So theoretically, this new street here, the main one with the trams on it, that connects both to the City Hall, the Central Bank, and the Intelligence Bureau, this would be one of the main streets of our entire city. As it is with many major cities, where you have the City Hall, it tends to be in a critical location of the city. And we are kind of going in and treating this area as such. So I decided to go ahead and create these walking pathways that connect from the start of the street all the way up to the Intelligence Bureau. And we are doing this continuous linear park throughout the area. I think it's both aesthetically pleasing to look at, and I just think it makes sense to have a lot of green space around this area. It would just be a nice place where people who work here can walk, and people who are taking the transit can safely get off and enjoy the area. So I'll be spending the next little while planting some trees all along this area. Okay, so here is a glimpse of our city hall, and I think it looks amazing. I absolutely love all the trees on both sides and the trams running in the center with also the trees in the center. I think it looks great. Hopefully, it will be utilized. Now, this area here, I went ahead and zoned some high density apartments, but I just didn't really like how it turned out. So, we'll be putting in a police station, I believe. Yes. Yeah, I put down the police headquarters here. Again, the whole point was to have some building that looked kind of different from the rest of the generic buildings. And obviously, the location is very prominent, so it would totally make sense to have the police headquarters located here. Easy access basically to everything, all the transit. I mean, not that they'll be taking the transit, but again, this is one of the main streets, so I don't know, I just thought it would make sense. But I mean, one of the main reasons was the architecture of the building and how different it looked from everything else. I just wanted something different to be placed here. And people will be safe, so I mean, it's a win win for everyone. Okay, so we are back in this area and we're just gonna finish our linear park. Now, I had saved the game, and for some reason, every time I save it and I come back in, that's when I fully exit the game and then run the game again. Our city becomes extremely cloudy and dark. I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but that seems to be a trend that happens every single time. Now, I do try to kind of wait a little for the clouds to go away before I start recording. But now, when I compare it to the footage that we had just previous to this, it just seems a lot darker, even though we are in June and it is basically summer. So I wish it wouldn't do that. I just don't enjoy the clouds that much. I love it when it's sunny and you kind of see the full vibrant colors. But it's alright, we'll make it work. And again, I'm just finishing off our linear park, which runs from our city hall all the way to the intelligence bureau. And I think it looks amazing, to be honest. All right, so this is the finished product of our City Hall, Central Bank, and the Intelligence Bureau. And again, we have that beautiful linear park connecting all three buildings. Now, leave me a comment. Let me know if you like it or not. Give me suggestions about our city. I'll be more than happy to read your comments and gain some knowledge. Because as I've mentioned before, this is the first time I'm playing Cities Skylines, and King City is the first city I am building. So I'm always, always, always open to new suggestions on how I can play the game better and even record the game better. So do let me know. I greatly appreciate it. And all that being said, I do want to thank you guys for watching these videos. I greatly appreciate the time you put in. Hopefully I can continue this series and we can continue building out King City and perhaps more cities to come. Who knows? But again, thanks a lot. I truly appreciate it, and all the best.